Tonight, fears a missing Gold Coast mother of two has been murdered.
Arts Minister Ros Bates explains what happened at her lunch with a lobbying firm.
New figures reveal Queensland children are drinking alcohol earlier than previous generations.
And an Australian first for Gautier, cleaning up at the Grammys.
This is 7 News with Sharyn Ghidella and Bill McDonald.
Good evening. Police fear a 34-year-old Gold Coast mother who's been missing for almost a week has been murdered. Bianca Stone joins us now live from Upper Coomera. And Bianca, what are police saying?
Sharyn, officers have told us this is where missing woman Novi Sharyn was last seen. Her home is now the focus of the police investigation. Detectives say there are no obvious signs of foul play inside, but they are likely to be here for some time. Once a family home, now a crime scene. Devoted mother of two, Novi Sharyn, hasn't been seen since last Wednesday.
She likes people, Novi, and, for no one to have heard from it's very, very strange.
Her neighbours fear the worst.
Just from what my girlfriend said to me, is that she said a muffled gunshot sound next door.
They're hoping the 34-year-old is found alive.
I guess we'll just hope she's found safe,
I hope she is, but it doesn't look promising.
Forensic officers have spent the day searching the Upper Coomera home she shared with her husband, their 9-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son. John Sharyn was the last person to see her, but it was a concerned friend who contacted police. Her car, a dark blue Volvo 4-wheel drive, has also vanished.
She has, on occasion in the past, gone away for a day or so. But on this occasion, she hasn't been seen now since last Wednesday.
Police have confirmed Mr Sharyn flew to Indonesia with the couple's children on Friday, 2 days after his wife went missing. The trip was booked before she disappeared, but it didn't include their children.
There was no real suggestion that there was any arguments or anything that night, but obviously we want to interview the husband a little bit more once we get the opportunity other than on the phone.
We spoke with Mr Sharyn this afternoon.
I'm right in the middle of a bloody business in Jakarta, in a business conference, OK?
Are you worried about your missing wife?
Of course I'm worried about her. But look, I can't talk to him right with the clients, mate.
Police don't know when he's returning, but say at this stage he's not a suspect. On the Gold Coast, Bianca Stone, 7 News.
A young woman saving up to travel the world has been murdered walking home from work in Webcke. Shandy Blackburn's family and friends lit candles and laid flowers at midnight, 24 hours after the 23-year-old was found dying in a street just metres from her house.
For Shandy, we need that closure. And again, to make sure that no child or woman has to go through what Shandy went through.
Police say they could be searching for more than one murderer. Detectives from the homicide squad in Brisbane have flown to Webcke to join the investigation.
An 18-year-old manicurist from Inala has faced court, charged over her alleged role in a vicious attack with stiletto and wedge-heeled shoes, which left a woman suffering serious injuries. The court heard Mimi Luong didn't know her victim but joined in as others assaulted a 23-year-old woman on the floor of a Fortitude Valley nightclub early Saturday. The victim had to have facial surgery and multiple stitches to her head, neck, shoulders and hand. Luong was released on bail.
Campbell Newman says Arts Minister Ros Bates has done nothing illegal by not declaring a lunch she attended with a major lobbying firm. Patrick Condren joins us now live from Parliament House. And Pat, this is an issue that certainly isn't going away anytime soon.
Definitely not, Bill, and her performance this morning heading into Cabinet really only made things worse. The parliamentary year kicks off here tomorrow and the government is already on the back foot.
Arriving for Cabinet, Ms Bates wasn't taking questions.
I'm not going to put up with any personal attacks from the Labor Party. Thanks very much.
But seconds later, she was re-emerging to declare she had no case to answer following a lunch last year with lobbying firm Barton Deakin and its clients with interests in her portfolio area.
As far as I'm aware, they were guests. There were people like Telstra there. There were people like the Australia Post there.
But she insisted that after speaking at the lunch for 7 minutes and taking 12 minutes of questions...
No lobbying occurred at the function. It was a keynote address.
It does beg a belief because it was a lobbyist lunch where they invited 15 to 25 of their clients.
Barton Deacon's website tells potential customers that it can help if you are a company or organisation exploring opportunities for grants or government financial support for establishing or growing your business.
I've spoken to the Integrity Commissioner and he said that they are actually pre-lobbying and they didn't need to be included.
Ms Bates now says the original lunch date shouldn't have been registered.
Obviously, there's a learning curve for everybody.
Campbell Newman says she passes his ministerial integrity test.
She has fully complied with the law.
The Minister has promised to reveal the full list of her now controversial lobbyist lunch in Parliament sometime this week.
So thanks very much. OK, see you later. Okay. Bye.
Patrick Condren, 7 News.
Campbell Newman says he supports a move by Green groups to refer the Bligh government's handling of coal seam gas projects to the corruption watchdog. Internal government documents reveal bureaucrats felt they were being rushed to grant environmental approval to projects worth billions of dollars.
They need to hold an inquiry, and preferably a public inquiry, into this so that we can get to the bottom of what went wrong.
He's saying he will refer the matter to the CMC. If he had not done so, I would have as well.
But Mr Hutton says the Newman government is exercising even less control over CSG projects than Labor did.
Queensland children are drinking alcohol years earlier than previous generations, with new research showing the average child has their first drink at just 12 years of age. An exclusive 7 News Right to Information investigation has revealed the problem is getting worse.
At 18 years of age, Beck is now legally allowed to drink alcohol. Instead, she's given it up.
I never really had a teenage life because I was using and drinking so often.
It started when she was 12. She was in rehab by her 16th birthday.
We used to drink anything, spirits, wine, beer, anything that was really around.
The latest stats that we did for our yearly reports are showing clearly that they're starting younger.
Unpublished government research obtained under right to information legislation shows the average Queensland child has their first drink at 12 years and 7 months. That's 3 years earlier than Queenslanders who are now in their 20s. They had their first drink at 15. Those who are now in their 50s started drinking at 17.
Most people always encouraged it. Especially older males.
19% of Queensland adults admit to supplying someone else's child with alcohol. 12% say they have during schoolies.
But parents are also to blame. Almost 1 in 10 admit to not only giving their child alcohol, but allowing them to drink without supervision. Most say, at least that way, they know how much their child is drinking.
You're talking about a child's brain. And there is no safe level of drinking before that brain is formed.
Reformed binge drinker Chris Rain had his first drink when he was 14.
Drinking's been a huge part of my life.
Now the founder of Hello Sunday Morning helps thousands live life without booze.
Hundreds of people sign up to Hello Sunday Morning every month that are parents and do want to be positive role models.
Now Beck is too.
Seek out programs like this because it really does change your life.
Amanda Abate, 7 News.
Tony Abbott's declared himself the workers' best friend by promising to clean up union corruption if he wins the next election. The opposition leader is following a well-worn path of Conservatives wooing once rusted-on Labor voters.
John Howard called them.
The battlers.
Then Kevin Rudd made them.
Working families.
Now they've become
modern families.
But they've always been better known as voters, and Labor's trying to win them back with new workplace laws, increasing the power of carers, older workers and recent mothers to seek more flexible working hours.
A flexible response to modern Australians' families' needs.
And a political tactic trying to depict opposition leader Tony Abbott as out of touch.
We don't think that housewives should be chained to the kitchen sink.
But Mr Abbott fired back with his own bill, promising heavier sentences for corrupt union officials.
The real friends of the workers of this country are on this side.
With friends like him, you don't need enemies.
A debate that will go right up to the election, an election in which we'll see a new player, with the birth today of the Rise Up Australia Party. Launched by anti-climate change crusader Lord Christopher Monckton.
I seem to remember somebody saying, under my leadership, there will be no carbon tax.
The group, supported by charismatic Christians, wants multiculturalism abolished and Muslim migrant numbers slashed. Mark Riley, 7 News.
There's been a development in the drugs in sports scandal, with the NRL given permission to inform clubs caught up in the investigation. It will then be up to the clubs to out themselves if they've been involved in doping.
As if the NRL brand hasn't been trashed enough. A publicity stunt put the stars of West Tigers on a sponsor's garbage truck. The players rubbishing suggestions they might be involved in doping.
I know at the West Tigers we've never been involved in any of that sort of stuff and will never be.
The 6 clubs named in the Explosive Crime Commission report last week are now being privately told and given the option of outing themselves.
We need to let it run its course and the action be done in the right way.
From the AFL, a plea.
To have faith in the game because this is not a widespread problem.
But that's been disputed by the sports scientist at the centre of the claims.
You know, it's sort of foolish to think that, you know, Essendon were the only club that were looking at, you know, these sort of programs. I think you've got 18 clubs that are all very well coached and obviously all have a very good high-performance unit, and they're all looking for a cutting edge.
In fact, the Crime Commission investigation reportedly identifies at least 7 AFL clubs as being vulnerable to illicit drugs, possibly 9. But again, the names of those clubs have been suppressed.
You can't start flinging allegations around that haven't been taken through the courts.
But our new Australian of the Year says it's time to name names.
If there is a problem, if there are clubs at fault, don't pussyfoot. Tell us all about it.
Chris Reason, 7 News.
Ahead in 7 News, Gautier talks about his Grammy success.
Why construction workers blocked Brisbane streets this morning.
And buildings destroyed as a tornado touches down in the US.
If you thought you knew what was behind the doors of an outlaw bikie gang, you were wrong.
These people are involved in serious crime.
For the first time ever, inside Queensland's biggest outlaw bikie gang. On 7's Today Tonight, next.
A radiologist has told the manslaughter trial of Jayant Patel there should have been more tests on a 75-year-old patient before he underwent surgery. Mervyn Morris died weeks after Patel removed part of his colon at the Bundaberg Hospital in 2003. Under cross-examination, radiologist John Branson admitted a CT scan would have been helpful in determining whether a lesion on Mr Morris's liver was cancerous. Prosecutors claim Patel misdiagnosed and performed unnecessary surgery which led to death. The trial continues.
Hundreds of construction workers blocked streets through the centre of Brisbane during a noisy protest this morning. They were demonstrating about chain charges brought against veteran unionist Bob Carnegie. Mr Carnegie was originally facing more than 50 contempt charges stemming from an industrial campaign at the site of the new Queensland Children's Hospital last year. But in court today, that number was reduced to 18.
There are growing fears a horse meat substitution scandal in Europe could harm people's health. The beef replacement is linked to a Romanian abattoir which supplies a food company in France, making lasagna mainly sold in Britain. Live horse exports from Romania are banned because of disease.
We do know that the horses in question may have been treated by antibiotics for a horse infection that could be harmful.
Tests are being carried out on the meat.
At least 10 people were injured when a tornado touched down in a town in Mississippi. As the driver in this video gets closer to the twister, the destruction can be seen all around him. Dozens of buildings were destroyed, including a university.
A 4-week-old baby has had a finger bitten off by a fox while being snatched from his cot in London. His hand was in the animal's mouth when the boy's mother discovered the attack. Surgeons have reattached the finger.
Queensland's oldest secondary school has celebrated 150 years of education. Old boys from Ipswich Grammar arrived in vintage cars, while current students formed a guard of honour. Among the guests were 30 former school captains and 40 graduates from the class of 1963. Former Deputy Premier Sir Lou Edwards played a key role in the assembly.
I remember this school very deeply, and it gave me a discipline that I was able to use in politics.
Ipswich Grammar opened its doors in 1863.
For the first time since Olivia Newton-John in 1975, an Australian has won the Record of the Year at the Grammys. Melbourne musician Gautier picked up 3 awards in Los Angeles, 2 for his worldwide hit Somebody That I Used to Know.
Sport now and another big day in league, Shane.
It was, Sharyn, and the season's just getting started. Coming up, clubs wait on the ACC report. Craig Bellamy hits the jackpot. Silent Sonny starts his new job after that farcical fight. And our cricket stars bypass Brisbane for India.
You be the judge. Your chance to pass judgment on real court cases. On 7's Today Tonight. Next.
South Sydney reserve grader Curtis Johnson is the first player to be publicly named in the wake of the ACC report for allegedly using peptides. At the Broncos, veteran Corey Parker has backed the club's drug policies and procedures. The workhorse says he was tested 3 times last year.
Sponsors may be watching the ACC fallout closely, but the Broncos aren't worried about either. Corey Parker admits cheating ultimately comes back to the individual.
You've got to uphold your end of the bargain, and if you choose to do the wrong thing, well, there's got to be a consequence. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's probably pretty black and white.
Canterbury also engaged in a public relations exercise, a school visit in Bulldog Heartland. Again, the focus was on how players are handling the drug allegations.
You just need to take a back seat, let the higher authorities, do what they need to do.
We're footy players, and we just want to, concentrate on the season ahead, and we'll try not to worry about that sort of stuff.
It suggested a handful of league clubs may have done the wrong thing.
We're confident that we're not one of those 6, and we certainly don't condone any of those things.
The Cowboys are relieved Jonathan Thurston's wrist injury, suffered in the All-Stars match, isn't serious.
Yeah, it's a little bit tender, but hopefully it'll be all right.
The wait is over for Storm. Craig Bellamy's extended his contract by 3 years, the multi-million-dollar deal making him the highest-paid coach in the game.
The emotional attachment, I suppose, is very strong, especially with the players. They're really important to me, not only as a coach but as a person.
Roosters welcomed Sonny Bill Williams to the Chook House as the superstar recruit relegated reporters to the outhouse.
Yeah, it's good to be here, but the boss man's saying I can't talk to anyone, bro.
Oh, really? Chris Bombolas, 7 News.
The Reds team for Super Rugby's season opener remains a guessing game, with captain James Horwill's hopes of playing in Canberra appearing slim after failing to train on his injured ankle. The flanker Liam Gill's certain to go head-to-head with Brumby's star recruit David Pocock.
I've been lucky enough now that I've had a few runs against him. But no, I mean, each time I get excited about it, and it's always a great challenge to test yourself against the best.
And a setback for Lions big man Brent Staker in his recovery from a knee reconstruction, booked in for minor clean-up surgery tomorrow. Brisbane Heat star Joe Burns could debut for Australia after being called into the 2020 squad for Wednesday's Gabba clash with the Windies. The T20 team has been decimated by the departure of players for the Indian Test Tour, but Captain George Bailey insists fans will get full value for their ticket.
I don't think they'll be shortchanged in terms of excitement and ability out there, no doubt about that.
Big hitting Burns is on standby for Bailey and Adam Voges, who both have hamstring issues. Yesterday's century by Voges was matched by Windies opener Justin Charles, but the tourist middle order again failed. James Faulkner took a screamer as Australia won by 17 runs to clean sweep the 5-match one-day series. Now to the one that got away during a promotion at an American ice hockey game. The Bakersfield Condors thought it would be cool to bring an actual condor onto the ice rink before a game. But they didn't bank on the giant bird escaping from its handler and causing absolute mayhem. It even found its way into the dugout, terrorising startled players. But it seemed like a good idea.
Yeah, not happy Jan, that bird. Thank you, Webby. To finance now, the market closed lower, led down by falls in the mining sector. The ASX 200 was down 12 points. Santos shares were down 5 cents on the back of reports CSG environmental review processes in Queensland had been rushed through by the Bligh government. Locally, What If shares rose 11 cents and the Australian dollar is buying $1.03 US cents.
It's weather time now. Here's John. Well, we've started the week with warm, sunny conditions, but the days ahead are looking a little unsettled. All the details are coming up next.
Tomorrow on Sunrise, the amazing pictures taking you into the life of the king of the jungle.
And the queen of the cash. The cash cow is giving away 10 grand. Don't miss it.
Well, good evening at last. We've had 2 sunny days in a row, but it looks like it won't be lasting too long. We've got the chance of a shower or storm tomorrow. Then the rest of the week will be a similar day or week to last week. The southeast winds are going to be back with a shower or two as well. But the good news is there's no sign of any significant weather events to come this week. In Brisbane at the moment, 25 degrees. Humidity is on 64%. Now, temperatures fairly close to the average mark today, 22 to 30 on the Gold Coast. Logan had 20 to 29. Ipswich up around 31 degrees. 22 to 29 for the city. 29 for Redlands, Redcliffe 28 and 19 to 29 at Maroochydore on the Sunshine Coast. Not a lot of cloud through eastern Queensland at the moment. There is a trough moving through the west. That'll bring some showers and storms there. In southeast Queensland, very similar to last week. The high will set itself up. Southeasterly winds, we can expect a shower or two, maybe a storm coming in late tomorrow. Now, our capital cities around the country tomorrow. We've got an afternoon storm for Perth. Adelaide's fine. A shower or storm for Hobart. A few showers for Canberra. Maybe a shower for Sydney. A shower or storm coming up for Darwin. Northern centres, a few showers for Cairns. Townsville mostly fine. A few showers for Mackay. Maybe a storm for Mount Isa tomorrow. Then further south, showers all the way down the coast. Nothing too significant there. And maybe a shower or storm for Toowoomba with a range of 16 to 25 degrees. Now, onto the bay, we've got east to southeast winds 10 to 15 knots, tending south to southeast at 15 to 20 knots by late evening. Higher seas 0.7 of a metre, offshore 1.7. Brisbane, partly cloudy day, maybe an afternoon or evening shower or storm, mainly in the western and southern suburbs if we see it, light to moderate southeast to northeast winds. It'll be 21 to 29 for the city. Going around the southeast, very similar forecast, a partly cloudy day with maybe a shower or two. There's a possible shower or storm for the southern and western parts of the southeast. We've got 28 degrees for the coasts, Ipswich 30, Logan 29 and Caboolture 30. Now, further ahead, a shower or two and 28 for Wednesday, a possible shower for Thursday and 27. Got a shower or two for Friday, Saturday and Sunday, but staying cooler. Temperatures around 27 degrees. That's tonight's weather. Sharyn.